Welcome in to the Hey. It's the Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, which is part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Go to rotofanatic.com right now. Go away from the show, or if you're listening to the podcast, pause it, type in rotofanatic.com, check out all of our great material. Closing remarks, Phil Goyette's rookie ladder, which is awesome. Phil's going to be on the show Friday, and so much more at rotofanatic.com. It's me, MJ Govier. GOV is in Victor IER on Twitter. Of course, Christopher Deary, C. Deary 1999. Deary,
what's going on, man?
You be all right? Are you coming down from this John Means high?
Yeah, I just found out about it. I just got home and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Great for him. I said he was going to be a year away from being a stud, but it looks like he's already there. He's had a fantastic season so far, and today's no-hitter, amazing.
Well, what a perfect guest for us to have on today. Since we had a no-hitter, we got a pitcher who got the job done. The third no-hitter of this very young season. We got a guy who knows a thing or two about pitching. You can find him on Twitter at Samski, SKINYC, which stands for New Year's Challenges. No, it's probably New York City. I know he's in New York City because I learned, you were stuck for a bit there because of some volcanic activities down there in the Caribbean. So it's good that you were able to survive all that, come home safe and sound, back to New York City. He writes for Rotorballer. He has his own website, too, ericsamulski.com, and he knows a lot about pitching. Let's all give it up for Eric Samulski. How you doing, my friend?
I'm excited to be here. It's like such a confidence-boosting introduction. I feel great now.
You got a lot going for you, as you should. You should feel very, very good about yourself. You're on a show where we have a good time, but we get down to it. We don't mess around, and we're going to help our audience, help the community here with their fantasy teams if we can.
Sounds perfect. Perfect mix.
How many fantasy leagues do you play in?
This year is actually the most I've ever done, and it's 8. And it's 8 leagues. 2 of them are draft and holds, NFBC. It's the first time I've done those 2. So 6 fab leagues, which I don't know how people do more than that. I feel like I'm already scrambling, and I'm already like trying to politely, tell my wife I need another hour in front of the laptop to keep like working on fab stuff, which makes me I just feel terrible doing it. But so I don't know how people do more than that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I've got my hands full this year, but I'm learning again next year, more best balls, less, and draft and hold. I know the draft and hold is actually the Palazzo Invitational is a draft and hold. We have 4 leagues, 60 teams total. But I don't like it. I don't think I like draft and hold.
I agree, Mike. I wish we would have gone another route with it. We were trying to make it easy for everybody that was going to be involved. Like, all right, here's your one draft, you're done. But like, I have like 9 guys that are done for the season.
Yeah.
Well, it's the risk of the game, right, Eric?
And I had guys like I drafted a couple of them like right before spring training or the first week of spring training, and I had some guys where I was like, this one is going to be this pick in the 47th round. Is going to be incredible, and it's like already a guy that's out for the year. So you're just kind of like, okay. I go to check the weekly lineup, and I'm like, there's even with this big a team, there's 3 guys I can put in this spot. So I guess here we go.
I want to have a little more. I don't know. Maybe I'd rather just do a best ball where you don't even set the lineups. You just draft it, and then it's done. With draft and hold, you do just draft once, but you do have to set your lineup, so that's one more step. I'd rather just do nothing at all best ball style or have weekly fab and just go for it. I think I would.
Again, it's obviously still fresh for me since it's the first year I've done these, but I think I'm kind of, in there with you. I think I'd rather do the draft and pay attention to the draft and not again and just focus on my fab leagues or, just do everything start to finish.
Well, I still want to give Derek from NFBC all the credit for allowing us to do the Palazzo Invitation. Thank you, Derek, for making it happen. We have an overall title, and we're still going to need a trophy, guys, a big-ass trophy. So we're welcoming ideas still. Do you have an idea for a big-ass trophy for our overall championship, Eric? Anything come to mind?
No. I think
if
I'm looking at the logo, I feel like a big ass megaphone would work. Just because you could also hold it and pretend that you're going to use. Obviously, it wouldn't work, but you'd still get the same effect out of it.
You get your name engraved on it. You got to use it throughout the year. Take it out in public with you and let everybody know you're the Palazzo Podcast overall champion.
Yeah, you got to do it.
We've actually had our guy Russell Withers, Armchair Roto. He had the idea, I think, with the megaphone, but also the Palazzo guy here on our logo from The Naked Gun, yelling out, "Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo!" And it was a decent idea. I like it. It's pretty good. It's probably the leader in the clubhouse, but we're still accepting any ideas, guys. So please send them in. PalazzoPodcast@protonmail.com or just DM us at Palazzo Podcast. Remember, it's 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
And hopefully you'll be the one. Not only will you be the one who creates the idea, but you'll always be associated with the trophy. Like, beyond, if you never win the league, if you never even win your own Palazzo Invitational League, you can still be the person that will always be the creator of the trophy. So we'll probably keep accepting ideas until about June or July, and then we'll probably have to get it made, right, Deary?
Yeah, it'll probably be like All-Star break.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, anyway, we got a great show today. Like we said, we got John Means, woohoo! We got Eric Samulski with us, so he's going to tell us everything that's so wonderful about John Means, I hope. I mean, at least today he looks wonderful. And we will do the catch of the day. We'll talk about injuries. Are they worse than ever? Return of the Mac. There's people on their way to help you. And we'll go inside Enrico's Inquisition with Eric Samulski. We're going to take him to task on things not related to baseball. And we'll play the fastest growing game show in America. Name that runner-up fab bid. And then with the replacements. Who's going to fill the void with this catastrophic amount of injuries from just today? I was on the In This League podcast with two great guys. Is it the Welsh, Chris Welsh and Scott Bogman. Oh, I hit the wrong button, damn it. Double shout to you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show. That will be out on Thursday, by the way. I fit right in with those guys. They're right up my alley. Really cool dudes. And we were talking within about an hour and 10 minutes. I think it was Alex Karloff, Joey Votto, and somebody else was on the IL or they got hurt during just that short period of time. It's just chaos with injuries. Eric, do you see it like that? Do you think they're worse than ever? I know we could do the research if we wanted to, but does it just feel that bad, or is it worse than it's ever been?
Sometimes it's not fun to do the research. You just got to go, yes, it's worse than ever. I feel like it's worse than ever. I can't imagine. I had a situation today where, we're going to talk about some of these guys later, so I won't go too much into it, but I had Miguel Sano coming off the IL and I had no space. So I was like, I have to drop somebody. You know what? Let me hold on. I'll see what happens. And lo and behold, Diego Castillo gets put on the IL, and now I don't have to drop anybody. I make a switch, and you're like, I guess that's a victory for me. I don't really know, but yeah, it feels like there's every time you're excited about somebody, they're going to be hurt for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty darn good strategy. Be patient. If you don't have to rush to make a quick drop anyways, you might as well wait till the next guy gets hurt. And now Diego Castillo's on the IL, and it's Pete Fairbanks, Jeffrey Springs. Who's on their rosters pitched really well right now is Hunter Strickland. He's pitched pretty well, and that could be a name to look at as a possible reliever who gets saves for the Rays, which is always a mess, though.
Right. I also like Andrew Kitteridge. I think it's Kitteridge, but yeah, he's getting some. He pitches a lot at the end, gets some wins, maybe a handful of saves, but that whole thing is a crapshoot.
Yeah,
it's the Rays.
Yes,
it's the Rays. Bye. Well, Eric, Rotoballer, what is your latest work at Rotoballer? What's going on over there?
So lately I've been doing a lot of video breakdowns. Early on in the year, it was video breakdowns of pitchers' pitch mixes, just trying to see who was reliable, viable or not. And then the last two ones I did, I actually broke down the debuts of Shane Mcclanahan and Danielle Lynch, trying to kind of go away from the really long written articles where you're just breaking down numbers and stats. And sometimes, even people who read baseball articles all the time were kind of lost in all of the metrics. And I think sometimes being able to actually see what it looks like and see the visual in pairing with the numbers helps it easier, be easier to kind of track the information. I have a little bit of a film background, so I just like, messing around in Adobe Premiere and just kind of nerding out a little bit on editing effects in weird ways. So it's a little bit of a blending of my hobbies together.
Have you done any acting, or is it more about just like editing and production stuff?
So I did some acting in like high school and some in college, but nothing like that. Yes.
Wow.
I was in a high school play with Deborah Ann Wool, who was on True Blood for like 6 years. So that's my my tangential claim to fame. But no, mainly, I wrote and directed some short films of my own and worked on some other people's short films and things like that.
Did you ever do anything with Alex Fast? I heard he used to act too.
I didn't know, but I saw the, Arizona cha-cha-cha commercial all over Twitter. So I feel like he and I need to join forces. Also, weird connection over there. Nick Pollock went to my rival high school. He was a few years younger than me, but we would have hated each other, I guess.
The Pitcher List. Wow.
Yes, those super intense New York City private school league rivalries.
I've heard of those. Yeah, I've heard stories. Private schools don't joke around in some areas of this country.
Yeah, I mean, we do in New York when it comes to baseball. There's usually like a couple good players on every team, and it's a little bit of a mess beyond that.
Wow. Well, that's cool, man. You got a really interesting background. I hope that you continue to use all of your parts, because I like using all the parts. We include humor in the show, and all of those things I've learned in the past. I worked in TV news briefly when I was younger, and I got out of it after like 2 years, but I learned a lot about production and stuff, so it's fun to include that. And I think if you can also differentiate yourself and just kind of show a little bit more of personality and interesting techniques as opposed to just like throwing out boring stats, I think that makes you I think it makes it more interesting for people. But then again, maybe people just love boring ass stats, and it really just doesn't matter. They just want the answer. That's all they want.
Well, Michael Govier does have an Academy Award, Mike.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big night for me a couple weeks ago. Michael Govier, best Oscar for best, what was it? Animated shorts, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. You did it. Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, what a night. I actually wanted to contact him and like interview him because I do a movie podcast called Cinema 9 Pod, and I thought it'd be cool to get him on there, but I didn't. I feel like I'll wait till he dies down. He probably got a lot more like people reaching out to him after you win an Oscar. So
he's on the circuit right now doing all the shows, right?
I'm sure he did. I mean, there's enough podcasts about movies alone to keep him busy for the rest of the year. So, well, let's do a little housekeeping. Do you know Mr. Belvedere?
Me?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
He's a sitcom from the 80s. He was a butler / housekeeper / house manager taking care of Bob Uecker and his kids. And in that spirit, we do a little housekeeping and we do it our Mr. Belvedere way. It's a great theme song. I think even if you never saw the show, I mean, check this out.
There's a change in the status quo.
It's jams.
All the help that we can get.
The new TV shows just don't have those kind of intros anymore.
They don't. They do not. I mean,
no, there's no jingle with like singing or anything.
No, it's just some dark melodic Scandinavian mood music. So yeah.
Yeah, some of that's cool too, but yeah, you're right.
For sure,
like,
yeah.
Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, like this. Or
it's not something I want to listen to episode after episode. I'll check it out once.
Yes. There was the Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Remember, he writes ominous scores for that basically CSI show. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
All right, you want something ominous? Okay, yeah. He hits the Seinfeld button. It was funny. It's a good movie. I like that movie.
Great movie.
At any rate, we want to say thank you to the guys from the Endless League podcast for having me on. It was super cool. It really was like a milestone marker for me. I really enjoyed my time with Bogman and the Welsh. Make sure you follow those guys if you're not already. They do their own thing. They do how they want, when they want. And I respect the hell out of that. I really do. So thanks to those guys for the time and the energy. And thanks to everybody else here who's been following and subbing the show. We had several new subs, dearie, to our YouTube channel because I did a video with Mason Dodd over at the Fantasy Flock Network. Follow him, Mason Dodd's Fantasy Flock Baseball Network. And he pumped us up. So we got about, 10 new subscribers. So thanks to all the new subs for coming in and giving us your time. We do appreciate it, and we just continue to grow bit by bit, and that's why we do this. We get to meet new people and have new experiences every day, dearie. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, thanks to Mason Dodd for pumping us up a little bit. We keep creeping up each week, and I love the live stream that we've been doing. We've been getting a lot of great comments live, so keep those coming, keep the questions coming, and we're going to keep putting out the content 3 days a week.
Yay! Fantastic. We've got an official follow on the Palazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's from Scott Bogman. Thanks for following us on Twitter. You can all follow us anytime on Twitter. That's where we post a lot of our stuff. We do have a Facebook page. We kind of use it. It's there. We keep it updated, but we don't interact with it much. If you want to interact with us, be on the YouTube channel. Be on the Twitter feed. It's very simple. All right. Well, we covered that. Oh, I wanted to mention, too, tomorrow GPS report comes out on rotofanatic.com. That's Paul Mamino's weekly breakdown of one particular pitcher. And he gives you a detailed understanding of the mechanics, pitch location, WOBA per pitch, and counts and situations. How's it going pitch by pitch for that pitcher? And is there brighter days ahead? Or is it a joke? Is it a fraud? Tomorrow's is on Kyle Hendricks, I believe. So that'll be interesting. What do you think of Kyle Hendricks, Eric?
I'm a big fan. I was actually just talking about him on a podcast called The Operating Room.
With the rotosurgeon, Kev.
Yes, with the rotosurgeon. So Kev and I were talking about him actually right before the start against the Dodgers. And I've always been a fan of Kyle Hendricks. I think potentially, he looked like he just didn't have command of his pitches. He wasn't, hitting his spots. And I think it could have just been adjusting to the lighter ball because, he's somebody who really is so precise about his location. So, I advised holding strong, and maybe I have a bias for guys who just throw 85 mile an hour, nothing. But I'm keeping the love for Kyle Hendricks.
He looked much, much better yesterday against the Dodgers. Made me very happy. And it's also a lesson, folks. You got to come back and put these guys in your lineup. If you drafted them and you trusted them in the first place, it's harder because after he got lit up by the Braves, it's like, oh, man, he looks like he's lost right now. I can't start him against the Dodgers. The Dodgers' offense is amazing, right? But you got to put him in there, and I'm glad I did. I did it in 2 leagues, and it worked out fantastically. You got to face that adversity and just go with what you wanted and what you believed in from the moment you created your team. It's very important.
You've done the research. You picked a guy for a certain reason, and you don't want to be the guy that gives up too early and then someone gets hot and he ends up on someone else's team. So pick your spots when guys are struggling, like Kyle Hendricks. Yesterday's start looked a lot better. 7 hits, gave up 1 home run, but only 1 run. Looked a little better. I think over the next few starts, he starts to get back to what he's been in the groove of the last 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, Eric, the guy throws, 87 max. I mean, he's a soft contact guy.
But he's always done that too. So when people are talking about, his velocity's down, it's like his velocity's down, less than a mile per hour. It's never been high. So that stuff doesn't concern me too much.
Great. Well, I trust your judgment, so that makes me feel good. I feel good about Kyle Hendricks rest of the year. That makes me happy. All right. Let's get into something we call Leading Up. In today's leading off segment, of course, we start with the catch of the day. And today, it's a no-brainer to me.
Good. Our first catch of the day.
We're going with John Means. Throws a no-hitter, 12 strikeouts. John Means looks outstanding to start this young season that's about 5 weeks old. John Means, Mr. Samulski, catch of the day. Is he, rest of season, a guy that will continue to... I mean, there's going to be valleys, but generally... he's an ace, or is he not an ace? Is he a second or third guy in a rotation? But Stooch is still reliable, but not the guy who's going to carry your staff.
Yeah, I'd call him a second or third guy in a rotation. I think, listen, I will admit to being late to the party on him. I thought, Camden Yards, AL East, all of the reasons that people like to pile on the Baltimore Orioles, so all of those reasons I was kind of thinking his upside is capped. But I think the thing that has really impressed me this year is he's doing this without the max velocity that everybody was kind of hoping for. He came back last year and was like, was showing like 95, 96. And everybody was like, if he can throw that hard, there's a new level. but he's been throwing 92, 93 for most of the year and still being successful. And it's because, his changeup is really damn good. So I'm buying in. I don't think you should sell high right now, but I wouldn't expect, him to replace your SP1 on your fantasy team. But I think he can be a really good SP2 for you.
Yeah, I actually passed him up in my home league because he was available for trade. Because John, our buddy Deary, Johnny G, he's off to a horrible start. He's already giving up. He's like,
no.
I know it's just barely May, but he gave up. He traded JD Martinez and
he's given up already.
Yeah, he traded Martinez and John Means for youngsters already, for Joe Adell and Andrew Vaughn and draft picks. And John Means looks really good right now. But Deary, do you think is Means as good as he looked? Is he a guy who could strike out 10 K per nine?
Yeah, I mean, right now this year, he was at 9.24 coming into this start, so it's probably bumped over 10 now. What's been really impressive is anytime people have been on base, he's gotten out of jams. His left on base percentage is 100% right now, which is amazing. And he's not giving up the home run, which he did last year at a 21.8% clip. So I think Eric got nailed it right there, saying he's your SP2, high SP3 guy. And if you drafted him, you probably got him at a really good value. He's probably overperforming right now, but I think most projections, of people that liked him had him at like a 3.5, 3.6 ERA and a guy that could possibly win some games for Baltimore. And, he's got 4 wins now, so it's a pretty good start. And he's looked really good through his starts. And I think he has pretty good value. I don't think you rush out and trade him or rush out and grab him. I think you just hold on to him. And I think he's in that same kind of like ethic of where, Brady Singer is at, a guy that really has the stuff who could be coming, like getting to that tier 1 guy over the next couple of years. In a dynasty, I think John Means is a great hold right now.
Genius, genius, genius.
John Means, I'm all in. I think John Means is right in the prime of his career right now. He just turned 28 years old. He'll be in that rotation because I think he's not free agent until 25. So unless the Orioles want to move him, which I guess, they're rebuilding still, so he could be part of a deal that happens at some point. But I could also see him being a cornerstone to help the young pitchers that are coming up like Grayson Rodriguez and other young O's pitchers. So congratulations to John Means on a no-hitter. Well done, sir. We're very happy for you, and it's a very special day. 3 cheers. I want to also give credits. This is a dual catch of the day because I got to give it up to Dylan Cease. I mean, he absolutely looked fantastic.
Good. Our first catch of the day.
Against the Reds. Now, I thought it was a joke when last start he did it against the Tigers. Anybody could do it against the Tigers. The Tigers are an incredible joke of an organization from top to bottom. Deary, I've been thinking about this, by the way. I haven't talked to you about this, but I'm just sick of it. I was listening to our local radio show, Valenti, on Monday, going off about Illich, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. I hate Illich is the problem. It's not Al Alvila's fault, the GM. It's Chris Illich. He doesn't say anything. You have no direction. This rebuild is way past the point of where it should be. We're like starting over again. I am pissed. I am really pissed. And I'm going to be vocal about it because we have to demand accountability from the people in power.
As you should. Local radio's been shitting on him for 3 straight days now. Now they're going into like business dealings, and now he wants to buy like a casino out in Jersey. This guy's a billionaire. Obviously the son of Mike Ilitch, all Mike Ilitch did was spend on the Red Wings and the Tigers for 30 years. True. And now we're in year 5, year 6 of a rebuild with the Tigers, and there's just nothing to show for it. You're not going to turn this team around with just youngsters. You need to go out and spend some money. And if they don't do anything this offseason, I'm going to be just really, really pissed. I mean, I think Avila, he hasn't been able to do anything here. Some of his trades have been extremely underwhelming. Didn't get anything back for, the Verlander deal was a poor deal. None of those guys we got back.
JD Martinez is amazing.
Turned into anything.
Got nothing from him. JD Martinez is still a great player. We got Dawel Lugo, who's trash.
Yeah, I was fine with giving up on those guys because it was time for rebuild, but you didn't get anything back for it. I mean, Jake Rogers, Daz Cameron, who are these guys? These guys aren't going to be major league rostered players in the near future. So it's really, really frustrating as a Tigers fan because we had 12 years of greatness around here and never got that ship. And now we're just in purgatory.
I'm sorry, Eric. Sorry, we're getting pissed.
No,
here.
I was going to say, I listen, I don't even think it's just you have to go out and spend a lot of money. Even something like, CJ Cron, I mean, he walked and took a minor league contract with the Rockies. Like you can't afford a minor league contract. You can't afford a very small, like, minimum contract. I mean, there was nobody waiting to take his spot at first base, right? It wasn't like you're in a White Sox situation and you can be like, oh, we'll just let Andrew Vaughn, even though they're not letting Andrew Vaughn play, so that's a bad example. But, like, we'll just let the next guy go. I mean, why not try to sign a reliable veteran, to take some innings? I even look at, like, look at what the Red Sox are doing. They had a terrible year last year, right? They go out and they take small.
Can you hear him?
No, what happened?
Can't hear you, Eric. I think he got muted. Something weird happened. I don't know what happened. We got disconnected or something. Sorry about that. It just cut off for some reason. But it says you're not muted, so... Those of you listening to the podcast, please hold while we fix this audio issue.
Yeah, I mean, what Eric's trying to get at is small signings, 2-3 year deals on guys that are affordable, that are veterans that can help you out. And that's what a CJ Cron would have done. And we got, 10 games out of CJ Cron before he got hurt?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Eric.
Oh, what's
any
going on?
luck? Eric. Can you hear me? Eric's working it out, so we'll keep talking. Eric, you could just talk whenever you want, and if we hear you, we'll let you know. Or you could also leave and come back in. Sometimes weird stuff happens. You could just come back into the studio. Sometimes just leaving the studio and coming back in is the answer. It's a strange beast, this StreamYard is.
Yeah.
But
can you hear me?
Oh, whoa, that's weird. You sound like Darth. You sound like a kind of Darth Vader. Wait, say something now.
Say something now.
Are you hearing this? The same way
it's
I'm
all
hearing
like
this
slowed down. Maybe leave the room and come
Alright.
back.
I'll leave.
Is this me?
No, I don't
I'm
think
still
so.
normal,
Are
right?
Yeah.
You know how that thing happens where all the color. I don't want that. I made sure that we're charged.
It reminded me of the Predator. What was going on there?
It sounds like that guy from South Park who can't, smoked and he can't talk anymore. Well, I was so glad to hear Valenti get on Illich's case, man. Made my day. I'm happy. And CJ Cron, I actually gave the Tigers credit. Remember, we talked in the preseason. I was like, well, they must know something. I'm so dumb, so gullible. They must know something about Cron's knee. That's why they didn't re-sign him. That was smart on their part. The Rockies are going to get burned on that.
I mean, Jonathan Scope's playing first base for them right now. And he's been atrocious this year as well. I was surprised to see they put up 7 runs last night. Now they gave up 11, but...
They got shut out 3 out of 4 games, and then suddenly they scored runs. It's amazing. So
I feel really bad for a guy like Robbie Grossman. I know Robbie Grossman's only batting like 225, but he has over 20 walks, and he's got a great on-base percentage. He's got 6 stolen bases.
Yeah, he stole 2 last night.
But he's batting at the top of the lineup of the worst team in the league. Like, if this guy was batting at the top of the lineup for like a team that's like at least 500, like his fantasy value would skyrocket right now.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. But Dylan Cease, we're supposed to talk about in the first place. That's why I didn't buy into it. He was good against the Tigers in his last start. And then yesterday, though, against the Reds, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks. But the Reds are a legit offense. Are they not, Eric?
They are.
He's
Can
back.
you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, you sound
Oh my
great, just
God.
like you always did.
Oh, it's perfect. Listen, thanks for your patience, guys. Appreciate it.
Of course. Things
Absolutely.
happen. Don't worry. Nothing mattered. In the end, one day we'll all be dead, and this will all be a distant memory. So it's not that important.
true.
But I do enjoy being here. I really do. So we're talking Dylan Cease now. Dylan Cease. Oh, wait. I wanted to ask him about the Tigers because I was talking about the fact that there might not really be anything in this cupboard beyond Torkelson and maybe Riley Green. What do you think of these supposed prospects? Mize, Skubal, Manning. Manning had his first minor league starts. The minor leagues are back, by the way. Woohoo! So great to have the minor leagues back in business. I'm really, really excited about it. In fact, Deary, we should really make an effort to go like some Mud Hens games, support minor league baseball more
That's
than
a great
ever.
call.
We really should do that because Toledo's only 45 minutes.
Yeah,
from
we'll
us.
get there in 45 minutes, and there's going to be a bigger turnout down there than Comerica.
Yeah, seriously. There's Renato Nunez and Omar Mazar are cranking home runs down there. But Matt Manning gave up 5 runs yesterday, struck out 6, his first start of the year. He's at AAA. What do you think of these 3 guys briefly? Because, pitching prospects don't always work out. You know that.
Yeah, listen, I kind of think I like Matt Manning the most of any of them. I know that the last start was rough.
First start of the year, yeah.
First start, exactly. I still believe in Casey Mize. I think there's another level there. I think that he's still figuring some things out. I did a breakdown of him before. The splitter has not been as effective this year as it was in the past. But it's been a really good pitch for him throughout his entire career. So I'm hopeful he can get it back. Skubal, I know people are high on. I think his breaking stuff is a mess right now. He can't seem to, he's got good raw stuff, but he can't seem to command it. I still think that because of how young they are, I still think the three of them could form a good top of the rotation. So I wouldn't give up hope yet.
Oh, Brian says stormy weather in New York City could be the issue.
That is what I'm going for, and I will blame Spectrum. And if anybody else would like to blame Spectrum, feel free to reach out to them and ask them why my internet keeps crapping out on me all the time.
I hear so much crap about Spectrum out there.
It's terrible, and it's basically the only game in town.
I have Spectrum.
Oh, you do?
It's been shockingly good. Yeah, it's weird.
Nice.
I'm like in the Livonia's of the Spectrum zone. It's not a Comcast area. It's very weird how these cities. Weird. Who knows what kind of bullshit handshake deals and payoffs are going on behind the scenes. But anyways,
villages are probably involved.
That was a good one. In the end, I actually think Skubal, this is long term, but I think Skubal is going to be in the pen down the road long term. But maybe that won't go that way. Maybe it will still work out as a starter. But I'm with you, and I appreciate that. But let's talk Dylan Cece then. Dylan Cece, while you were gone, I was saying to Deary that Dylan Cece played great against the Tigers. Anybody could play great against the Tigers because their offense sucks. But he looked really good against the Reds yesterday with 11 Ks. He did have 3 walks, but Dylan Cece, is he having a Giolito type, like 2019-esque Giolito breakout, or is this temporary?
Can I straddle the fence a little bit?
Sure. You do whatever you want.
I have always been a big Dylan Cease fan. I mean, I think that you just watch him pitch and there's so much ability there. I don't know that I'm going to bank on a Giolito breakout because I see him like mentally take himself out of games a lot. There were a couple games early on. He was on like my TGFBI team, so I was watching early to see how he was doing, and he was getting some, squeezed on some calls, and you can kind of see like on his face the way that he almost like starts second guessing everything that he's doing. And that's where you can see some start to unravel, or he gets some big innings against him. And I feel like he kind of just loses the zone. But what I like is in the Tigers start, the slider was really good. It was like a big swing and miss pitch for him. And then in the Reds start, the slider was also really effective, but he used the changeup more. So he's starting to kind of show some consistency with the breaking pitches that has me believing that at least at the bare minimum, he's no longer going to be a waiver wire guy. He's somebody you can hold on to.
I had this feeling come over me yesterday when I saw, because I didn't catch the start in real time. I saw the box score and I was like, what? 11 strikeouts? Whoa. And I had this feeling like I really missed out. It was like a terrible feeling of anxiety. Like, oh no, I just didn't even consider Dylan Cease in 2021. Did I totally blow it? You know what I mean?
I had the same exact feeling because he was available. He had that great start against the Tigers, and I'm like, well, this guy was so last year. I mean, he had some stretches where he was really good, and he's been pretty decent so far this year. But I'm just like, oh, it was the Tigers. I don't know if he's going to bounce back in his next start. And he was not rostered in a couple of my leagues and put out this great start, and he now has been picked up, and he's probably going to go on this run. I mean, the guy's got a really good fastball. His walk rate's down. The issue that he's had in the last couple of years has been home runs. And I really like what Eric said about, keeping that mental game high and being able to keep those frustrations back, keep yourself centered in the middle of games. And you got to be a bulldog out there. You can't let, the ump squeezing you get to you, maybe a couple errors on the infield, little, bloopers over first or second. Like, you got to be able to move on to that next batter. So if he gets that brain going right and can, mentally get over some of these hurdles, he's certainly got the stuff, and he's in year 3 with the White Sox right now. So maybe the breakout starts to happen right now. But yeah, like with Eric, I'm kind of on the fence. It could all fall apart here soon, or he could end up being, a top rotation guy.
I would certainly be trying to pick him up, though. And to your point, like if you missed him, I mean, he's been shuffling on and off my roster this year on some teams because I want to believe, and then he has a bad start, and then I want to believe, and he has a bad start, and maybe I'm too fickle with the end of my bench. But I will say, I think that's going to happen again. I think that whoever picked up Dylan Cease in those leagues knows the history of Dylan Cease, and if he has a bad outing coming up, somebody's just going to go. There's a good chance that somebody's going to go, all right, it's not for me, or it was a fluke. And then, if you're really into it, you just pick him up again and hope that, you get the hot streak.
He's going to be in that group of like 10 to 15 pitchers every year that 5 or 6 guys in your league roster him. And you could be a guy that rosters him 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that was legitimate about his start against the Reds is there was just no hard hit balls at all. There's one hit, and yes, he walked 3. That's part of the issue. That'll still rear its ugly head. It's going to be part of him still maturing. But nobody really put any mustard on any of the balls. And this is the Reds lineup that's solid. Jesse Winker, Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, who's hurt now, Moustakas, Suarez. I mean, these guys speak for themselves. These guys are all heavy hitters, and nobody could touch him. That's impressive to me. So I'm going to take that as legitimate in the box, in the sample size, small sample size that it is, and go from there. But I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes from here, which I'm expecting good times. I really am. So if you have Dylan Cease, congratulations. If you don't have him, maybe think about what would we give up to get Dylan Cease. Like, will we give up? Let me give you a couple examples here, Eric. I'll throw out a player's name, and you tell me if you would give up. Would you give up Francisco Lindor for Dylan Cease?
I would not. No.
Okay, that's smart. Good. That was a test. How about Shane Mcclanahan? Would you rather have Shane Mcclanahan or Dylan Cease?
Oh man, you picked up on like my new love interest right now. I can't do it to Shane. Can't do it.
Well, that's fine. Let me give you a hitter. How about Nick Solak for Dylan Cease?
I'd take Solak. Yeah, I'm a big Solak fan. He's hitting at the top of that order. A lot of runs, power, speed. Yeah, I'm big on him.
Okay. Deary, would you rather have Dansby Swanson or Dylan Cease?
Oh man, I'm waiting for Dansby to heat up. It hasn't happened.
No. 288 OBP.
Yeah, but I trust in Dansby Swanson a little more than Dylan Cease. Obviously, a lot will depend on how your roster is constructed. If you're really hurting for pitching right now, maybe you got 2 really good starters and you're just really thin at like an SP3 or an SP4. I mean, Cease could fit that mold right there.
Yeah, this is all in a vacuum, of course. So just a couple of names I threw out there on the It's Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We're trying to get you guys the right players before they're...
That one is long gone.
That's right. And then you miss out on an opportunity. I don't want that to happen to anybody. Don't forget, it's Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
We're talking with Eric Samulski. You can follow him at Sam Ski NYC. It's so easy. It's Sam Ski SKI NYC. It fits in 3 little parsibles. It's perfect. I love it. And of course, Chris Deary, C Deary 1999. All right, we'll talk about the injuries when we talk replacements. Let's move into Return of the Mac. Yeah, it's Return of the Mac. That's right. By Mark Harrison. Isn't that right, Deary? Did I get it right this time?
Mark Morrison. Every week.
Harrison again. Damn it.
But it was almost like I was hearing the track live, though.
Well, in the podcast version, you will absolutely hear the music on the podcast edition. But YouTube, no copyrighted music on YouTube. But in the podcast version, it's playing right now, and it's fantastic. We're all feeling it. Now, Danielle Lynch made his debut Monday. Came up from the minors. Eric Samulski, I feel like you know more about Lynch than the average Joe. What do you think of Lynch going forward? Is he going to stick around? Is he going to come back up and be a regular part of this rotation? What do you make of the man?
I like him. I think he's here to stay. I don't know why you would. First of all, the Royals are competing, and they're in first right now. And I think that it's a well-constructed team, and they're going to compete throughout the rest of the year. I don't think you bring him up unless you plan to keep him up. And I think also, he's a polished pitcher in the sense that he pitches with composure and he pitches, there's a consistency in command and repeated delivery. So I don't think that you're going to see like crazy blow-ups out of him. Fastball was mid 90s. I've heard that he can run it up to like 97, 98. I didn't see that in the first start, but you're still talking about 95 from a left-hand pitcher, which is great. He's got like this weird slider, but with a knuckle grip. So they were calling it like a knuckle curve on the broadcast, but StatCast calls it a slider. But it has slider movement. It's filthy. I think it's a really good pitch. And he flashed a good changeup at times. It just was inconsistent. I talked in the breakdown I did, which you can find on Twitter, that I thought there was a little bit of like, first game nerves, and his front side was kind of flying open a little bit, which would cause some of the mechanical issues. But you're looking at a legitimate 3-pitch pitcher, for a good team in a pitcher's park with if you want any catcher to guide a young pitcher through a season, it's going to be Salvador Perez. So, I don't think you're necessarily going to get a rookie who comes and like takes the league by storm, but I think you're going to get pretty consistent production throughout the year. And I think the Royals, have shown that they'll let these guys go 6-7 innings. So you're not going to get, the Shane Mcclanahan 4-inning start out of him. So yeah, I'd be adding Lynch in, most 12-team leagues or deeper, at least to have him on my bench and see how these first few starts go.
Yeah, make sure you check out Eric's videos. They're fantastic. You can go follow him at Samski NYC, SAMSKI NYC. His Danielle Lynch video, really good stuff. It's got 5,000 views. Nice job. Well done, sir. That's fantastic.
Thanks. I think it's the most watched one.
That's
people
great.
People love Danielle Lynch.
I just put a tweet out on our feed, on the Palazzo podcast feed, 2Ls2Z, so you can check it out there or just go directly to his feed. I also said there's plenty of room next to Pitching Ninja for more pitching analysis. So sure, Pitching Ninja's the man. Rob Friedman's awesome, but there's room for more of us, right?
Hopefully.
Yes. I'm telling you right now, there definitely is. There's
Good.
always
I'm glad to
room
hear
for
it.
more perspective. More perspective is a good thing in this game. Deary, Danielle Lynch, did you pick him up anywhere? Did you take any shots on him?
No, I didn't. I watched that start. Electric slider. I like it a lot. He threw it 38% of the time. Decent enough fastball. Big, tall kid, 6'6". I think my concern with him in owning him in a redraft league is how many innings are we going to get from him? He hasn't been above A+ ball where he threw 78 innings. Looked pretty good. ERA just over 3. Walk rate was down. Strikeouts was pretty decent. I think he gives you some value here in the next few months. I just don't know if he's going to get shut down at any point. So I'll ask Eric. How many innings do you see out of him?
It's interesting because we have the whole like alternate site 2020 situation where we don't really know how many innings these guys threw last year. So if I'm looking at it as a major league club, he threw 78 the year before. They probably tried to push him to 100 last year. In an ideal circumstance. So to think that you might be able to get 100, 110 innings from him this year, I think is fair. So that would be kind of the range that I'd be looking at.
That'll be interesting. There's more guys down there too. Jackson Kowar. Oh boy. Right?
They have a good farm system. Yeah.
Brady Singer, it was just the tip of the iceberg with Brady Singer, and now you got Lynch, and more to come there. They have a lot. I got to give a ton of credit. Dayton Moore's done a great job. That's a GM. See, there's a GM you can get behind. He's done so much with so little, and he's won a World Series, too. That guy is...
How do you like this in the last 12 years? They go from shit to World Series champs, making it 2 years in a row, winning it 1 year, back to kind of middle of the road, and now they're in first place and competing in the Central and have an excellent farm system. Like, that's how you do it.
They signed guys. The Tigers could have. Yeah, the Tigers could have signed Carlos Santana. It wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, whatever. This is not a Tigers podcast. This is it's the Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball podcast. Others that can be returning. Miguel Sano's back today, so that's good news for those of you that need some pop in your lineup. Luke Voight went 2 for 3 in his rehab start in Scranton. Is it Scranton Wilkes-Barre?
I think it's Barry, isn't it? Maybe
I think it is. I think it is Barry.
I had no idea.
I want to say that's how
wondered.
I've heard it.
I've never known for sure. I always say Scranton Wilkes-Barre, so what the hell do I know? But yeah, he went 2 for 3. Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and he's probably going to be with the Yankees very, very shortly. So I'm excited about that. If you have Luke Voigt, I'm sure you've had him on the IL. There's probably no way in hell he's on anybody's waiver wire unless it's a 10-team league. Maybe he might be on the waiver wire, but you should be grabbing him as long as he's healthy. We're pretty much guaranteed power, right, Eric?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the foot issue is a problem in terms of, just kind of like using the lower half to get power. But I think that he's done his time, so to speak, on the IL. So you would like to believe that he's not coming back unless he's fully healthy. And I think that bat plays. I think the power is legit. And in that park and with that lineup, I think, you should get really good production for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think the good news with him being able to come back and play first base is there won't be a ton of wear and tear on his lower body, so he could just be over at first and hopefully knock enough out of the park that he's just trotting around the bases and not having to sprint.
Yeah, he's going to hit a lot of home runs, but he's still going to do a lot of...
And he stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by. Struck him out.
That's part of the game. Strikeouts are part of the game. Max Fried is back right now as we do this show live at 7:47 Eastern time. Max Fried, 2 innings in, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts on the road against the Nats. That is good news to see him back in business. People make fun of Max Fried, Eric, because he doesn't strike out enough. He doesn't have that flashiness, but this guy is very, very reliable. He can be somebody who really, as long as he's healthy, of course, holds your staff together.
Yeah, I think he's underrated because, as you mentioned, he's not flashy. And I think for pitchers, it goes back to like the Kyle Hendricks thing. We tend to gravitate towards flashier pitchers. That's why Dylan Cease gets chance after chance after chance on people's fantasy teams. But I think that, you need guys that are reliable. You need guys that, you can plug in the lineup and know that 9 times out of 10, you're going to get at bare minimum an okay start. And I think that, that's a good team. Their offense is going to wake up a little bit. They're not hitting like I think they will as a team throughout the rest of the season. So, yeah, I'm excited about him coming back. I think, and then they can get Soroka back at some point. I think that, rotation becomes pretty dangerous.
My Soroka. I wrote a song about Mike Soroka. So it's a good song.
I'll have to check it out when this is done.
Yeah. It's on the YouTube channel under our playlist songs. All my silly, stupid parody songs. Mike Soroka, My Soroka. I did Brady Bunch, the Brady Singer Bunch recently. So those are all there. Akil Badu, which was a cover of the Police's Do 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 Da Da Da. Not as popular as it once was. Akil Badu, dearie, as predicted, won for his last 30 or something. I mean, just he's off. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, he's looked like hell. The discipline has gone away, and he looks like he did when he was in the Twins organization, and that's why they let him go. And there's nothing the Tigers can do with him now because of him being a Rule 5 guy. The only place he can go is back to the Twins.
I think I mistakenly said on a show like a month back, he'll probably be in AAA. No, he can't. He's a Rule 5. It's either he's on the team or he's not. You're right. Good point. All right. Guess what? It's time to get into Enrico's Inquisition. Eric Samulski, are you ready to tango?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Would you prefer to deal with a manipulative person or a callous person?
Wow, this is deep into my psyche.
Alan Trammell or Lou Whitaker?
Oh, I knew you were going to hit me with that.
The 1988 Dodgers or the 2020 Dodgers?
Oh, the 1988, by far. It was the happiest moment of my sports life. That was my first gut moment.
Nelly, get ready for some doozies, because it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, Enrico's Inquisition.
It is great to be doing this segment again. We got to do it with Aaron Pags last Friday night. A lot of fun to get it back in the rotation. And now we've got Eric Samulski within our Inquisitional zone. Musically, this is always the first thing we ask. Favorite artist? Do you have a favorite musical artist? A couple favorite musical artists? It doesn't have to be like one favorite. You can go a few different directions.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see. My God, so much to choose from. I'm like, how does the first question stump me so much? I would say let's go with more sentimental music choices. So my dad's favorite band is Steely Dan, and I grew up listening to a lot of Steely Dan in the car with my dad. So I would say, in terms of like music that I hear that has like that emotional connection or that connection that makes me feel kind of connected to those memories, would be Steely Dan. And then also my wife is a massive Gregory Alan Isakov fan. So her and I, it's like folk music, singer, songwriter. He's listen, it's a little like, like moody and sad, but the lyrics are beautiful and he's got a great voice. And
we love moody and sad. That's fine.
We've seen him in concert a few times. So that would be it. And then I would just say also just from my childhood, the Chili Peppers. I saw Chili Peppers live a couple times, and that was a great show. And there's just, again, something about like listening to Californication that puts me in like a particular time of my life.
Absolutely. Me and Deary understand that completely. How do you spell the second group now?
Gregory Alan Isakov. So it's Gregory and then Alan with one L, and then the last name is Isakov.
Yeah, he came right up on the old Google machine. He is a South African American singer-songwriter, currently based in Boulder, Colorado. How about that?
Yeah, check it out.
Deary, you ever heard of him?
No, I haven't.
You stumped both of us. That's impressive. Well done.
Man, my wife's gonna be so proud of me.
Yay! Well, we aim to please when it comes to significant others on this podcast. All right. Now, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'll save that one. I want to wait. I want to get away from baseball. Books or Kindle?
Books. 100% books.
All day. Okay.
All day.
I like that. Mac or PC?
Mac.
Okay. So Final Cut Pro, but you like Adobe Audition, you said.
Yeah, I use Adobe Premiere.
Premiere. I was thinking the audio version, Edition. Yeah. Damn it. That makes sense to me. Meat or cheese?
Oh man, meat.
Yeah. Wow. Steak or chicken?
That's the real hard question. Meat or cheese?
That is a tough one. We never asked
Sophie's choice. Yeah.
That's Sophie's choice.
Yeah. You say steak or chicken?
Yeah, I guess if you you chose meat. So
yeah, steak.
Boy, well done or medium rare?
Medium rare.
Good. This guy knows what he's doing. This is my kind of guy here on Inside Enrico's Inquisition. Spring or fall?
Fall. I should probably say spring because of baseball, but I think it's fall for me.
I love fall. Deary, are you spring or fall guy?
Oh, it's fall all day, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all day. I mean, I live in Treetown here in Ann Arbor, so that the leaves are just getting to start to drop off the trees. You got playoff baseball, football starts to begin. All the idiot college students are back in Ann Arbor. It's fall. It's fall for me. Also, I can't stand spring where one day it's 80 degrees and the next day it's 45 degrees.
I hear you there.
Yeah, I completely agree with Deary on all of that. Marv Levy or Sean McDermott?
Oh, I mean, I gotta say Marv out of respect. That started the whole thing off.
Oh, I mean, McDermott's doing pretty good things. You're right, but he went to 4 Super Bowls. Even if he lost them, he went to 4 Super Bowls.
I'll never say a bad word about McBean, but I gotta give the credit to Marv.
Would you rather go to spring training for a week or go to a Bills game? One Bills game.
Spring training for a week. I'm not a live football guy. I just feel like there's so much downtime in between every play that, I go to a live game. I guess if you're including the tailgate, then it makes it a much tougher decision because there's
That is
there's
part of it.
there's nothing quite like a Buffalo tailgate.
That's what I'm saying. You're not you're doing the whole
That's
experience.
true.
Like you're going there 7 a.m. or something.
Let's take it back. I'll go Buffalo Bills game. Go to a Buffalo tailgate. Who really cares? You know what? I'll stay in the parking lot and watch the game. It doesn't matter to me.
100 ambulance rides between all the spectators for those tailgates. Those are just nuts.
Yeah. Listen, it's going to be a full stadium next year. So.
Yeah, that's right. Deary, last night on the Is It Safe podcast, we talked about, that's another podcast I do with a couple friends. We just talk about winning anything. We
What
talked
is this
about
podcast?
The one with Luke. I do with Luke and his two friends.
Oh, okay. I can't imagine what you guys talk about.
Anything, yeah. What came up last night was our trip to Penn State. We talked about Harry.
Yeah.
Harry, we stayed with this guy in Penn State because we went to a Pearl Jam show in Pittsburgh on a Friday night, and then we saw Michigan play Penn State up in Happy Valley the next day. This was like 8 years ago. And we stayed at this guy's floor. It was all there was available. All the hotels were sold out. We were totally blew all the accommodations.
We rented a room in this guy's house.
Yeah, that was all it was. $50 for the floor.
Just to sleep on his floor.
4 guys, $50 on a floor. And it turns out he was a former Penn State football player. And I looked him up yesterday. We were checking in because we were like, what was his name? We knew his name was Harry. And it turns out his name's Harry Hamilton. And we Googled him, and there's this new shit that was going down in his life. Like his Wikipedia page had this stuff about this. It was just crazy. It would blow your mind, Deary. It would blow your mind. You got to check it out.
Remember his dog's name?
No.
His dog's name was George Bush.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So weird.
I did not remember that one. I do remember his kid was there who was estranged from him for a long time. It was so weird. It was so bizarre, man.
It had some old guy pick us up to take us down to the stadium, just drop us off. It's like very odd.
That's living life. Eric, do you have a weird story like that where you just went on a trip and just weird things happen?
I feel like every trip my wife and I go on now, a weird thing happens. Whether it's a volcano erupting. We went on a trip before our wedding. We went to Portugal, and there were wildfires that were so bad to the extent that we were driving, and we're just like driving on a highway in Portugal, and all of a sudden this man jumps out in front of the highway and is just like waving his hands wildly. And he was trying to get everybody off the highway because the fire was like approaching the highway. So
wow.
Just everything now, I feel like there's something going on.
He sounds like
Don't
a Bills
be that
fan.
guy.
Yes. Listen, I heard your story, and it reminded me of, I went to Michigan versus Ohio State in Ann Arbor in 2007. And the same thing, slept on my friend's floor, woke up at 6:30 in the morning to start, getting ready for the game. It was a horrible game. That was the Beanie Wells 14-3 Ohio State game.
It was awful.
It was raining the entire time. Yeah. I'm convinced that I had like hypothermia because I was just in like a t-shirt standing in the rain the whole time. Yeah, and then you do what you do in college, which is we went back to the house and slept for 4 or 5 hours, and then got up and tried to go out again that night.
That's right.
There's a very good chance we may have bumped into you at some point during that day.
No way.
Yeah, very possible. Who's to say? I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. God, that game, we thought that was bad. Things just got so much worse after 2007.
So much worse.
It's just over. We always ask this, and you're a pitching guy, so I can't wait to hear what you say. Sliders, curveballs, or changeup? Which of those pitches is your favorite of the three?
Changeups. It's underrated.
We owe SP Streamer for that because we didn't always used to ask changeup. It used to be just sliders and curveballs.
Yeah, underrated, deceptive. It's great.
Best changeup of a pitcher you've seen, or your favorite, even if it's not the best, just the one you enjoy the most.
I will say, just because I think we got to keep ourselves humble sometimes. The pitcher on my team in college, his name is Ryan Hopkins. He doesn't even pitch anymore. He's an engineer. So hey, Hop. But we were at an inter squad scrimmage, and his changeup was so good that he literally told me he was throwing a changeup, and I still swung and missed at his changeup. Before the pitch, he gave me the signal, changeup. I sat on his changeup, and it dropped so much that I swung right over the top of it. So
wow,
yeah,
dude, that's pretty cool, huh, Deary?
That's Jamie Moyer style. That's how you pitch till you're 48. I hate the changeup. One, because I couldn't throw it, and two, because I couldn't hit it either.
Oh, it's tragic.
I think a good changeup can make you look just as foolish as a good breaking ball, as a hitter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's you. You're dropping to your knees on those.
Yes.
Luis Castillo, he sucks this year, but he used to be good. He had a good changeup. What's wrong with him? Is it the changeup or is there something else going on here? All mechanical stuff?
I think it's also, I don't know. Like I was talking about him the other day too. I don't see anything in the profile that's like, oh, this is a glaring red flag. I think that, he just like, maybe it's a command issue. He's just not, he does not seem to be locating his pitches. So he's another guy I'm confident will bounce back. But changeups right now, it's like the Miami Marlins organization, top to bottom. I mean, Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Trevor Rogers. I mean, they teach the hell out of a changeup there.
Wow, that's good to know. I actually took on the In This League pod I was on today. They asked me Trevor Rogers or John. Who was it? John? Shit, I can't even remember now.
Was it John Means, and you went away from John Means on the day through?
Nah, I forgot. I'm an idiot. We did a bunch of like, would you rather have this? We tried to debate ourselves. I can't remember, but I got it right here. Yes, it was. Would you rather have Trevor Rogers or Dylan Cease? Is who it was. We did also talk about John Means, so that's why I thought about Means as well. I said Cease over Rogers slightly.
Really interesting.
Yeah, but if you think. I mean, I love Sandy Alcantara. I've got him in several leagues. I drafted him very heavily this year, and Pablo Lopez to a little bit of a lesser extent. But Trevor Rogers, I don't know. He looks good, obviously, but I'm still thinking Dylan Cease has a little bit more to offer. He's got 4 pitches that I think he could throw with regular confidence if he's feeling good, of course. So, but that's not what this segment's about. So who cares?
Yeah.
God.
We're talking about me here. Let's go.
This is about Eric Samulski. We're in Enrico's Inquisition here, talking live at Samski NYC on Twitter. Do you prefer Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram. I'm a photo guy. I like visuals.
Your visual arts. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Paintings or drawings?
I'm terrible at both, and my dad would hate me for it. I would say paintings.
Yeah, that's the dumbest question I've ever asked on the show, I think. And I've asked a lot of dumb questions.
That painting painting behind me is my father's. He made that, and I have no actual artistic talent with drawing, painting, etc. So that skipped me.
Well, yeah, you never know. We got friends that are really good technical drawers, but then other ones that are really good at artistically drawing, and there is a difference. There really is. Sure. Cars or bicycles?
Bicycles. I'm a city kid. I got my license when I was 18 years old, and I bet I didn't really even drive till I was like 21. So.
Would you rather see a play or a stand-up comedy?
I'd rather see a play. I get uncomfortable in stand-up comedy, to tell you the truth. I keep thinking I'm going to be the guy that gets picked on. No matter where I sit, I'm like, oh God, there's something. This is going to look right at me.
That's interesting. I think I've seen one stand-up comedy performance in real life. I've just not seen a lot of it in real life. It's weird.
Yeah, it's also so easy to watch it, on like Netflix or whatever now. So, but not to say it's not valuable in person, but I would just choose to play.
True, very true. And finally, we always ask this one: for love or money?
I'm a romantic at heart. Let's go for love.
Oh, beautiful. Doesn't have to be complicated. It could be just that easy. Folks, there it is. Everything we ever wanted to know about Eric Samulski, we've learned it. Now we know everything there is to know. There's nothing left to ever ask him ever again. We're closing the book on him for good.
We're done. That's it.
That's it. Done. This is the Hey, it's Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, which, of course, is part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Go to rotofanatic.com right now and make sure that you take time to read GPS Report by Paul Mamino and follow Paul at P Mamino Fantasy. There's 2 M's. And don't forget, he's Mamino Man. We're going to be making t-shirts soon that have Mamino Man on them. It's a work in progress. In fact, maybe we should get an artist to render that and make it a reality.
I think Eric should do it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's see what Eric comes up with. Even if it's just the most simple drawing ever, at least you tried.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right, let's talk more fantasy baseball now, because that's what this show is all about. It's time for that game of games. Name that runner-up fab bid. Woohoo! Boy, I love this game. It's a lot of fun. I'm your host, Michael J. Govier, MJ Govier, GOV is in Victor, IER on Twitter, C. Deary 1999, and Eric Samulski at Samsky NYC on Twitter. All right, it's real simple. Eric, we give you a fab bid, a winning fab bid, but you got to guess the runner-up bid on it. It's never easy. It's always a challenge. You can play it against us too. Anybody can bring up a bid and then we can guess. But I'll go first, giving you the bid so you can see how the game's played. In fact, I'll go with Deary because he knows how to play. Watch me and Deary play first, and then
I know how to play. It's not hard.
It's tough. It's a tough game, man.
I've been doing pretty good the last few years. I've gotten within a couple dollars on some of these. I haven't hit one right directly on spot yet. We've gotten better for sure.
Yeah, I really think we are getting better, Deary. I really do. I'm proud of ourselves. I think this is it's an inexact science like drafts and stuff, but there's a way to do it. So, in my TGFBI league this past weekend, and by the way, we always do our Sunday Night Fab Show live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and I want to thank Dave McDonald for subbing in for Deary on Sunday night. Thank you, Dave. We had a great time talking fab bids, and Dave gave some good insight into some great pickups, including what's his face, Tyler Anderson of the Pittsburgh Pirates looked fantastic against. He's a 2-star pitcher this week, and I was like, "What, Tyler Anderson?" But Dave, looks like a genius right now.
Yeah, he had a no-no going last night.
Yeah, very, very impressive. So, Deary.
Yeah, what we got?
Shane Mcclanahan, our old pal, Eric's favorite pitcher, or his new crush, his new man crush. Shane Mcclanahan was bid $113. $113. What was the runner-up fab bid?
Yeah, these are so fun because he was also bid on in my league as well for $57 was the winning bid. You said 113.
I know it just every league is so different.
I love
that's why you never
love
figure this out.
Yeah, I love this guy. I just hope he can get enough innings to, if you're in a wins league, that he can get you a win. I mean, he went, what, 4 the other day. Luis Pitino, a similar guy, he's been doing this bid relief thing, and these guys are 2 guys that are really on the come up here. 113. I'm going to go with $90.
Eric, you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't know to bid on him because the bids were low in some of my leagues. I'm going to go with $27.
Well, the closer answer was Chris Deary. Runner-up bid was $81.
Okay, not bad.
So this was a little tighter, but still a gap of $40 or so. So, well done, Deary. What do you got for us?
All right, let's go with guy who was off to a slow start. Had a real nice week last week. Has a ton of power for the St. Louis Cardinals. Tyler O'Neill, winning bid $75.
Nice. That's a great bid. Eric, why don't you go first?
Let's make it a close one. Let's say the runner-up bid was $71.
Okay. I think
Michael?
there would be a competitive bidding. If you know what you're doing, you want Tyler O'Neill on your team, can give you a combo of power and speed. Very athletic guy, very quick. Surprising to some people for a power guy. But I'm going to say somebody lowballed it like 43.
Eric was only $4 away. The winning bid was $67. The runner-up bid was $67.
Wow. Nice job, Eric. Well done.
Just like that. Woo!
That's impressive. Eric, do you want to propose one to us, or you just want us to keep proposing? Because we have plenty.
Yeah, no, I'll go for it. So there was a meltdown in Colorado the other day, and many people were starting to say that Daniel Bard is losing the closer's job. So in all of my leagues, people were bidding on Michael Givens. In my TGFBI league, he went for $47. What was the runner-up bid?
37. I will say 12.
I am going to say $23.
The runner-up bid was $5.
$5.
It was
I knew it'd be lower.
Yeah, $42 overbid.
Yeah,
Wow.
he went in my league for $13 with no runner-up bid.
Yeah,
which is not bad. $13, but with no runner-up bid, that's not bad. You got him for $13.
Well, we want to welcome in Jasper Springer. He's new to the show. He just found us yesterday. Hello, Jasper. Welcome in. That's a sweet-ass name, by the way. That's really digging that. And thank you for listening and following along to the show. We're playing Name That Runner-Up Fab bid, Jasper. You guys, in the live stream comments, you guys can put in your bids if you want to play along, too. You're more than welcome to do so. Dalton Varsho in my TGFBI league. Dalton Varsho went for $102. $102. Deary, name that runner-up fab bid.
$102. He also went in my league. Not for $100.
Yeah,
not for $10. He went for $7. Let's go in between there a little bit. I'm going to go with $51.
Eric?
He went in my league too, for $132.
Wow.
Whoa. So I'm gonna try to find the middle ground there, and I'll go $87.
Well, this was a weird week for Fab then, because the runner-up bid on Dalton Varsho in this league was $9.
No, the runner-up for the $132 bid in my league was $3.
Wow.
There you go. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. You want to know who made that bid, by the way?
Was it you?
It was me. I paid $102 for Dalton Varsho when I could have had him for $10.
Wow.
Listen, talk to the guy in my league who paid $132.
I'm still trying to get over
bond
this.
over it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, God, I totally okay. Whatever.
How much money you got? How much money you got left in your league, Mike?
Oh, I'll have to. I'll check
okay?
that right. Let me effort that. I think I got a decent amount still. Stand by 3, 2, 1. I have $629. So yeah, I still got plenty of money.
Okay, you're good. All right, let's go with Corey Kluber. He had a really great start against the Tigers last week. People are wondering if the Kluber show is back. Winning bid $123.
What do you think, Eric?
I'm kind of buying into Kluber as well. So let's go 101 for the runner-up bid.
Michael,
You said 123. You said
123.
That Tiger start. Man, somebody might have got really excited. Yeah, I'll say 103.
103. You both are well off. The runner-up bid was $47. Not everyone was believing in it.
I'm also not believing in it yet. I'd have to see another start beyond the Tiger start. Although he did have a good start against the Orioles prior to that, so I'm somewhat intrigued.
I've got one.
Bring it.
Another veteran pitcher. People buying the recent production. Robbie Ray went in my league for $68.
Yeah, he had like a really good start on that Sunday, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll say 23.
Oh, I'm going to go 48.
All right. I'm a bit of a dick for this one because the runner-up bid was also $68. It was a top.
Oh.
Wow.
Well
done.
Lot of Robbie Ray believers.
Yeah, you totally nailed this. Well done, sir. You know how to play. You're really catching on fast. I'll tell you what. That's how this game is played. All right, we'll do one more quick round of this, then we'll move on. I've got Adbert Alzolay, starting pitcher of the Chicago Cubs. Winning bid, $42. What was that runner-up fab bid?
Let's go $21. Somebody else believed in him. Ish.
I'm going to say this runner-up bid was pretty close to winning it. I'm going to go with $38.
Wow.
And a ground ball into left field for a base hit. They're going to wave him in. Going to be close, and he's going to be out.
Oh, so close, Deary. You're off by $1, $39. Well
All
done.
right, and I'm under.
Yeah, that's outstanding. That's fantastic.
What do I win? What do I win, Rod?
My respect. You have won my respect. I'll give you that much. By the way, I also wanted to use that bid to get a little bit of credit back after the Dalton Varsho bid, because that was me. I won that bid by $3, so I did it right that time. So
Kudos.
thank you to me. Kudos to me. All right. Anybody else want to do one more? I think we had our fill.
Oh, let's go Dylan Cease, just because we talked about him. Winning bid was $21. What do we got for a runner-up bid?
Wow, $21? That's a steal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went for 40 in mine after I cut him before. Let's go as close, and let's go $16 as a runner-up bid.
That's a solid bid. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say $18.
Ooh, you guys are both very close. Winning bid $15.
Well, we're on the right track at least. We were on the right track at least. Jasper Springer's on our live stream. He said, I picked up Shane Mcclanahan and looking at grabbing Andrew Vaughn in a 12-team Yahoo League. Eric, is Mcclanahan 12-team viable?
I have him in a 12-team. It is a keeper league, so I think that obviously skews it. Yeah, I'd pick him up in a 12-team because they stated that they're going to stretch him out at the major league level. So I think what that says to me is that they view him as a starting pitcher and they plan to, extend his pitch count with each outing. So I'm hopeful that he goes 5 next time, and maybe we start to see him settle in around 80 pitches. So I don't know that he goes deep into games, but if he's giving you 5 or 6 innings consistently in his starts, I think he becomes 12-team viable because that stuff is just so electric.
Andrew Vaughn still does not have a home run this year, but with the injuries, he is 12-team viable in my opinion. He will get it going because he's going to get playing time now. They have no choice.
Yeah, their whole opening day outfield is injured right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Eaton ends up on the DL in the next couple days.
Yeah,
so there's no reason for La Russa to hold him back now. He was starting tonight in left field, and he was batting 5th. So I think a breakout starts to come. No home runs yet, but he's batting 273 through 64 plate appearances. So I think he starts heating up here, and he's definitely viable in a 12-team.
Agreed.
Well done. Well done, boys. Nice work there. I know Jasper approves. Right, Jasper Springer, thanks for the questions. You guys are welcome to ask questions or pickups, scenarios, anything on your mind, fantasy baseball-wise, or even non-fantasy baseball-wise. We can cover anything. We can talk about, the collective good and, what's best for society or, stocks, crypto. I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever's on your mind, drop it like it's hot. All right. Now, I've been looking forward to this. This is called The Replacements. This segment is players to fill the void for freshly injured players or somewhat freshly injured players. And this also ties in our conversation about injuries and how bad they are. So you guys can feel free to drop your opinions. We did kind of briefly talk about it in the opening, but I want to cover these players and we want to get replacement opportunities. And also, if we can try to give the audience, context. Is this 12-team viable, 15-team viable? Is it a specific type of league, a head-to-head? If there is parameters, make sure that we cover those. So we'll start with Luis Robert. He's out, and I'm going to drop him in redraft leagues. I think it's a hip injury. It's a serious deal. He's out for months, they said, right? That's what we heard, months.
Yeah.
I don't know if they said 3 or what, but they said months initially. So what do we do here, and who can be of service in replacement of Luis Robert? Eric, why don't you start us off since you're the guest of honor?
Sure. So, I think you were hoping for 270, 2020 out of Luis Robert. I mean, I think people maybe wanted more, but that may have been what you were getting. So how about 270, 15, 15, and go pick up Cedric Mullins off the waiver wire because he's still not owned in enough leagues. He's 56% owned on Yahoo, which is generally a pretty good barometer of, a guy's availability on a wire. I would pick him up in 12-team leagues for sure. He stopped switch hitting. He's hitting just from the left side only now. When you can focus all of your attention on one swing, that can be good for you. His reach rate His O swing is down, so he's not swinging at pitches out of the zone as much. He's making good hard contact. He's sitting at the top of the lineup. I think he's Justin Mason's favorite player. He tweets about him like daily. But I think that but I think that love is justified because I think that he's I think he's a really strong player. He's hitting .322 with 5 home runs and 3 steals so far. So I think people need to start buying in.
I love it. I love me some Ced Mullins. I picked him up in a secondary head-to-head league last week. That was the day he hit 2 home runs. I think it was last Monday. It was about a week ago. I was like, oh, cool. What a great start to my week. But it didn't finish that way. But it was a great start to week. I'm all in on Mullins until proven otherwise. He's going to get daily at-bats, and he can do just about everything because he plays at Camden Yards as well. Deary, anybody you want to jump in with for Robert, or we can move to the next player? Your call.
Yeah. So I picked up this guy in the last couple of days in 2 of my leagues. He was picked up with a fab bid as well in my TG FBI, and I think he's going to be a hot name in this upcoming week, and that's Mike Talkman. So Talkman was moved on over to the Giants. He's now batting leadoff with the Giants. Yaz is out. Dickerson is now hurt. He may be going on the DL. He sat yesterday. I think he may have already been put on the DL. So Talkman can play anywhere in the outfield. He's a guy who's going to be able to get on base. And the fact that he's leading off for the Giants is really nice. Giants are 13th in the league in scoring runs. He got on base 4 times yesterday in that doubleheader, scored a couple runs, be able to give you a nice 270 average, swipe a couple bags. Probably not going to put the ball out of the park a lot, but I love the fact that he's going to be leading off for him, and he's going to be available in a ton of leagues right now. So he's a nice pickup. I like Mike Talkman over there in San Francisco.
Yeah, those are 2 solid replacements. Well done, guys. I respect what we're doing here. We're talking the replacements. Who's going to fill the void now that our players are gone or hurt? I actually drafted Luis Robert in the Palazzo Invitational. Good job, Mike. Well done. Woohoo! Yippee!
I drafted Eloy Jimenez in that league.
Hey, look at us. We're setting the standard for our own league. We're geniuses. I will say this, and this is fully on me. I am responsible, but it was an auto pick, which is really dumb. So you don't want to auto pick your first 4 picks.
So was Mondesi, right?
Yes. So... And I have Mondesi and Robert. It's been a tough start in the Palazzo Invitation. But anyways, that's not about me. This is about replacing players. Let's go back to Eric now. We're talking Jesus Luzardo. No, he's been a real bummer for me. I have him in a few spots. I even took a risk on him in a quality starts league, and it's just not worked out so far. So who knows when he'll be back. It's not a season-ending injury. It's his pinky. So he'll be back eventually. But who could fill the void until then?
So let's go one Bay Area lefty to another Bay Area lefty. And I think you should add Alex Wood. I think, Alex Wood introduced a slider last year, but didn't really pitch that many innings. The slider is a very good pitch. I fully buy into it. And I think he's a true 3-pitch pitcher now. He's always been relatively good when he's pitched. He's pitching in a pitcher's park. I think that you can avoid, the Dodgers, but the Padres haven't really been as good offensively as everybody thought they were going to be. So
right.
It's not as much of a, oh God, run away from the NL West type of situation. And I think, he's got real swing and miss ability with that pitch. So I'm running him out there until, you're eventually talking about who replaces Alex Wood, because he's always hurt and he probably will be at some point this year.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We all know the truth there, but hey, enjoy the ride. Take advantage of it. That's what fantasy baseball is. You go and jump on somebody's back and you enjoy the ride until they fall apart and pass out in the desert. And that's how it works. So I just can't believe these Giants, man. Gaussman, Wood, they just pick up all these pitchers, and Gaussman's on the IL now. So,
well, isn't that just a COVID reaction?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think
I don't
it's
risk the guy.
I think it's the shot reaction.
I don't wish him ill will. These Giants. I got to give Faidi Zarhan. Oh, I said his name wrong. I'm an idiot. The GM. He's amazing. He's doing great work over there. So kudos to him. Kudos to the Giants. You guys are doing what the Tigers should be doing. So I'm just going to shut up now and listen to what Deary has to say. Who you got, Deary?
Let's just cross the bridge and go over to Oakland, and let's look over at Cole Irvin. So Cole Irvin, big 6'4" lefty as well. Doesn't throw the ball super fast. He sits at about 90, throws about 53% of the time. But what he does really well is he locates it. He's got a really excellent changeup and a pretty decent slider. So his last 3 outings have been really, really solid. 1 run, 9 Ks against Toronto, 2 runs, 8 Ks against Tampa Bay, and then 1 run, 6 Ks against the Orioles. So his last 3 starts have looked really good. This guy who didn't really do much when he was in Philadelphia, and now he's come over to Oakland, and I think he's going to be able to step into that role of, being a kind of a stopgap until Luzardo can come back. What a dumb injury for Luzardo. I mean, he's already been a disaster this season, and then he's playing video games and does it reminds me of me at 22 years. No, he was playing video games and he went nuts and broke his hand.
Oh, you believe that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think happened?
I think it was a Robbie Ray scenario, just more bullshit, Oh, I fell down with my kid. It was probably just it's shit-faced and he did something dumb. I always assume every baseball player who gets injured like that was drunk.
And then he hit it from the training staff because he started that game.
Yeah. Well, it also doesn't make sense. Like he said that he was upset about something in the video game, so he threw his hands up in the air, and his hands then hit the table. But like most table, I'm like, okay, if I'm in my living room, any table that I have is like knee height. It's low. So if I'm sitting on a couch and I throw my hands up in the air, and after I'm holding the control, like how do I hit the table?
he didn't think this one out very well.
Yeah. Says Joel Zamaya-esque.
Like you got.
But that one was great. What did he strained his arm playing Guitar Hero or something? That was my favorite.
Yeah, that's exactly what the story was. And by the way, I got Mr. Zaidi's name backwards. I got the words right, your name right, but I got it backwards. My apologies to you, sir. It's Farhan Zaidi, not Zaidi Farhan. Apologies. All right, we covered Jesus Luzardo here. We're doing the replacements. We're giving you guys opportunities. Cole Irvin was amazing last night, by the way, and I want to say I recommended him in the tag team league that I do with Eric Cross, but Eric wasn't feeling it, so we didn't do it. But I also made recommendations that we probably did that didn't work out at all, so I'm not blaming him at all. I'm just saying co-managing is hard. It's a challenge. It's a process. You got to learn and adapt, and just it's challenging. It's really. Have you ever co-managed a team, Eric?
Not in baseball. I co-manage a football team with my podcast co-host. And we get along well, but there's definitely some moments where you're just angry texts back and forth about like with the strategy or picking up this guy or that guy. So.
Yeah, I wanted to take a flyer on Eric Lauer and Cole Irvin because we needed more wins, and we're just behind in pitching stuff. And I know that Lauer gave up some runs, but a lot of them were unearned yesterday too. So it would have been nice to get some more strikeouts, which they both provided yesterday. So I did not think Cole Irvin would be as amazing as he was last night. 8 innings, 9 Ks, just totally shut down the Blue Jays. But I did think he could be serviceable. So that's how it goes. Them's the breaks. Travis d'Arnaud he's done. I don't know how he'll play again this year. It's a thumb that has a torn ligament, and batting with a torn ligament is going to be very, very challenging, even when he gets back and building up the strength in it. If he gets back by August or September, that'll be impressive. I'll give him credit for that. But catchers, we've had a lot of catcher injuries. Omar Narvaez is on the IL as well. And what do we do here? In fact, let's just do I put d'Arnaud and Narvaez on here, so let's just give us a catcher replacement here who could help out with either one of those guys, Eric.
Yeah, so actually every Sunday I do a streaming catcher article out on Rotoballer for the week ahead, and I think that the two things I look at, I think plate appearances are crucial, right? You got to make sure you're getting a guy who's getting consistent at bats because almost every catcher situation is a timeshare, and even if somebody's hitting well, if he starts 2 games during the week, you might not get as many counting stats as you will in other situations. So I actually think Wilson Ramos is not owned in enough leagues, and he's consistently getting a lot of playing time, career high barrel rate, career high exit velocity. You know, the launch angle is up a little bit more into like home run territory. His, you know, expected stats are all higher than his actual stats. But I think, you know, this is a guy who's going to be in the lineup pretty consistently. He has always hit for a decent batting average, you know, 250, 260, 270 range. And I think he has the power to, you know, wind up at 15 home runs. And so, you know, you may not get a boatload of runs and RBIs, but I think you're going to get enough production that I'm not necessarily like, you know, I don't need to go run and pick up. I don't know. There's just so many, like, you know, Mike Zunino on the wire and stuff like that. I'd rather have the consistent bats of Ramos.
Come on, you don't want 40% strikeout rate from Zunino?
Yeah. I'll get my home runs in there, I guess.
That is so typical, man. It's so interesting that you said at bats. That is the first thing I click on in all my 15-team leagues on NFBC. I click on at bats when I'm on the free agent wire fab bidding for catchers because I don't even care who it is now. I picked up Jacob Stallings because he was getting daily at bats for the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do anything, but I was like, I just need somebody to just be there every day because I got so many guys like Tyler Stevenson or, you know, just like you said, a lot of timeshares, and it's a real mess. What about you, Deary?
You know, Jacob Stallings was a nice call there. Jacob Stallings does get on base. He's kind of a doubles machine if he can get the at-bats, which he does. And I think he has like 14 walks to like 19 strikeouts, so that one's not bad. I did pick up William Contreras, Wilson's little brother. He actually did hit a home run today, so I was just kind of getting a flyer on him. Young guy, didn't do much through the minors, but, you know, I got to play someone there. You know, Wilson Ramos, a guy that I did have earlier in the year, and I gave up on him because I'm just like, he plays for the Tigers. Like those RBI opportunities aren't going to be there. But like to Eric's point, 15 to 20 home runs is really interesting. But the guy I want to bring up is, Mike, you mentioned him, Tyler Stevenson. With Joey Votto being out now, does Tyler Stevenson have a chance to get a share at first base now?
Oh, that'd be amazing. I would love to see that.
Yeah, he's off to a torrid start. I mean, obviously that BABIP of 469 is nuts.
But every time he plays, he does something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Every time
Which is
he
even
plays,
more impressive because he's
something.
not playing daily.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's someone, and he's been behind Tucker Barnhart because Tucker Barnhart's having an excellent season. You know, Votto being hurt now, maybe this gives Stevenson a chance to play first base. I'd have to look deeper into the numbers and see if he played any first base when he was in the minors. I know he isn't known for being a typically good defensive catcher, but he's known for his bat. And if this guy can start to get regular at bats, I think he gives a real nice boost from possibly two positions.
Yeah, I think the issue there might be in terms of him playing first base would be that Jonathan India came back too. So now, you know, if they're going to get Naquin at bats, they have Winker, Castellanos, Naquin in the outfield, which means Senzel needs somewhere to play. Yeah. So they might be one of those things where they actually have legitimate infielders play infield positions and move Moustakas to, you know, first. But who knows how that shakes out? I think.
Yeah, I mean, we all know there's going to be an injury in the next week with some of these guys. Either Moustakas, Moustakas has been horrid so far this year.
He has been bad.
That's frustrating. I don't have any shares, but I get texts from many friends that are just like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe what's happening with him.
Senzel get hurt too. He's not reliable. I like him, but he just perpetually hurt.
Yeah, I will throw one last name in there. Just if Kyle. Higashioka is on the waiver wire. I'm interested in him because I'm just not a Gary Sanchez believer, and I think the Yankees are starting to realize that, you know, the defense behind the plate is so poor, and it has ripple effects onto their pitching. And, you know, when you're hitting, you know, sub 200, there's only so much that they can also tolerate bad defense. And I think that's a 50-50 split now, and I wouldn't be shocked if it winds up going, you know, 60-40, 70-30 in favor of Higashioka as the year goes on, because he actually has been hitting and his defense is just much better.
Yeah. Looks like those Gary Sanchez fantasy takes I had, insane fantasy takes, might not hold up this year, Deary. So.
Dude, keep riding it, man. It's going to come around, right, Mike? It's going to come around.
Well, there's still time. I mean, Higgy looks good, though. He's good enough where, like, Sanchez just never plays. He's playing tonight, I believe, but, boy, you're right. It's a good call. Get Higgy. And whenever I say Higgy, I think I said this the other day, it always reminds me of Bobby Higginson, Deary. That's all I think of when I hear Higgy.
I remember there was this There was a story years ago. I was in Royal Oak and we met some girls at this bar. And this one girl was like, "Oh, yeah, my friend just left with a Detroit Tiger." I'm like, "Who?" And she's like, "Oh, he said his name is Bobby Higginson." I go, "Oh, the guy who's up to bat right now on TV."
Wow, that's...
Yeah, they immediately were like, "All right, we got to find this girl."
Surprised that doesn't happen more often. I bet that does. People are devious, man. Good God.
Very weird.
By the way, Jasper Springer says Kiner Falefa, Mr. Isaiah Kiner Falefa, does have catcher eligibility in Yahoo, which is just the dumbest thing ever, but it's true. So great news for you. If you have him, take a chance. He also says he has Alejandro Kirk, which is a bummer because Kirk looked great for a minute there. He was heating up. Yeah. He's got a great bat. Real quick, Eric, do you think Kirk is too... He's going to have to lose weight?
He's a bowling ball of a human being.
He is at 5'8", yeah. 5'8", 270.
I think he might have to in order to catch like a full season of games.
Right.
You know, I think it's a grueling position. It takes a lot. But listen, I mean, we've seen it from his own teammate, Vlad Guerrero Jr., that sometimes it takes guys being in the league and being through the grind to realize that when they thought they were in good enough shape or when they were in good enough shape for the minor leagues, it's maybe not the same in the majors. And I also know that, the support staff and what's around you makes it a lot easier in the major league level, in order to make sure that your health and fitness is at the highest possible level. So, sure, I think he can lose a little bit, and I think he would. I don't see any reason why not.
Good point. JD Davis on the IL. He's got hand issue. Yeah, I thought he would be fine, but he was put on the IL because that's just what happens this year. Replacement for Mr. JD Davis has third base and outfield eligibility depending on where you have him. So you could take this in either direction, Eric.
I actually went and I tried to find you as close to the exact replacement as possible. So nice. I took a person with infield, outfield eligibility who had a hand injury. And a lot of people were dropping Hunter Dozier because he wasn't performing at the beginning of the year, but he had a finger issue, and you could see he was wearing like a protective, guard or whatever on his thumb. And that obviously impacts your ability at the plate. I think he started to come around a little bit. He's another guy where if you look at like the StatCast leaderboard and you look at the difference between expected stats and actual stats, he's kind of all over the leaderboard of differences. He's still, hitting the ball. He's squaring the ball up relatively well. He just hasn't had the thump behind it because, he clearly has had a finger issue. But I think he's starting to heat up, and he gives you basically the exact same thing you were getting from JD Davis.
Great call, man. It's the time to strike on Dozier because he's going to start getting the ball rolling here, and it's going to happen. He's going to steal bags. He's going to hit home runs. He won't hit 300, but that's not what you got him for. He can give you a nice balance of power and speed. I think that's a great call. Well said. And we panic sometimes because we want results, but we do have to be a little patient, especially if a guy has a hand or a thumb injury. That's not easy to deal with a wooden bat and a baseball coming at you at 98 miles an hour.
And I think the 2020 season programmed some of us to be super reactive because it was only 2 months long and everybody had to make decisions immediately. So you're now used to being like, oh, it was 2 bad weeks, I got to find somebody else. But, this is a grind. It's going to be months of this. And, if you've got a guy that has a track record, I think you can hold him for a little bit longer and, try to wait it out. Like I'm doing with Tommy Pham, just sitting on my bench in so many leagues right now, just waiting to see if that happens.
We all have those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. What about you, Deary?
I mean, it's a grind, like Eric said. And if you're going for just like a short term, you're looking for somebody to just help you out at third base for a month. Why not a 35-year-old Asdrubal Cabrera? He bats second for the Diamondbacks. He also has second base and first base eligibility in Yahoo leagues right now. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to be able to put the ball over the fence every once in a while. He's going to be able to get on base good enough with his walk rate, and he'll hit for an okay average. So it's like a decent little stopgap. Another guy who doesn't have third base eligibility, but I love the eligibility of several places in the infield, second base, shortstop, and then even in the outfield. And he's not going to blow you away with his average right now, but he's still batting at the top of this Red Sox lineup, and that's Kike Hernandez. The guy is going to score 100 runs if he stays in that leadoff spot for them. So he's another guy that, like, you can pick up if you're falling behind in runs. Like, he's a guy pick up and slot him in, and he's going to be able to give you 5-6 runs a week.
I do just want to point out Hunter Dozier just homered off Shane Bieber.
There it is.
As we were talking about this too.
We are Dozier believers here at the Plaza Pod. Oh, Mike's pissed.
Well, no, I was just going to try to trade for him in my home league. Now it's just going to get harder.
I've been working on a trade for him all day via text, and I'm sure that now the price is going to just skyrocket.
Yeah,
I've been propped it.
I've been trying to work on a Conforto trade for like 2 weeks, and now he's like really starting to heat up, and it's like the price just keeps going up, and I'm like, fuck, I can't get it now.
Yeah.
Yep. I propped a deal right before we went on the show here, and now it's going to be reworked. It's not going to happen.
One home run changes everything.
Well, no, yeah, he's hit a couple home runs over the last few days. So that's good news, though, for the places I drafted him and have him in my lap. So good news there. That is, again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the show, taking a risk. A guy who is slumping, but you know he's got to get better at some point, so you got to put him in the lineup. The law of averages says that he will get it going eventually, and that's starting to happen with him. Real quickly, I threw a couple other names here too. I had Nico Horner, who's out. Joey Votto is hurt today. He's on the IL. Alex Kirilloff went on the IL today. Just give me you can go any of these three you want to replace. Let's just do one more, Eric. Your choice.
Sure. Let's go with if we're going to replace Alex Kirilloff with another kind of first base outfield left-handed hitting rookie. I'm interested in Pavin Smith. I think it's Pavin. We'll go with that. I love his approach at the plate. He makes a ridiculous amount of contact. I think that there's a little bit more power in there than he's shown. I don't think you're getting what Alex Kirilloff was doing the last couple of days where, it just seemed like every ball he was hitting was absolutely crushed. But this guy's leading off for the Diamondbacks. So I think, going back to what Deary was saying before, runs are an underrated category in fantasy. We don't pay attention to them enough. Guy's leading off. He's got some pop. He's got he's got runs in his bag. And I think that, he's not going to strike out a lot. So I like him if he's on your wire still.
Fabulous. Deary, take us through one more player's choice.
Yeah, I think when Eric stepped out because of technical difficulties, I brought up Robbie Grossman. Yes, he does play for the Detroit Tigers, but he bats leadoff, and he's got an 18.3 walk percentage this year, and he's got 6 stolen bases. So the opportunity to steal 15 stolen bases is there. Maybe there's the opportunity if he continues to be able to get on base, maybe gets that average closer to his career average, which is 250. Maybe the Tigers can trade him and maybe get something for him in return. I think that's kind of the hope that they're thinking with some of these guys. Sure, it leaves their outfield more depleted than it's ever been. But Robbie Grossman's a guy who, with the opportunity to get on base like he does and maybe get some steals, there's no way the Tigers are going to bat 205 for this whole season. There's just no way that's going to happen. Maybe Mazzara comes back up when he gets back on the mend and he can get, slot him over in one of the corner spots. And, he's a guy who could maybe knock in some more runs. So I think Grossman average is probably going to get up a little bit. And if the Tigers bats can start heating up a little bit, they scored 7 runs last night. He gets closer to maybe like 65, 70 runs.
Yeah, it's possible they could. Who knows? That Tiger team is bad, but you're probably right. They will get a little bit better. I'm not going to be negative here. By the way, Anthony Rendon officially on the IL just now. So there's another buddy.
Oh my God.
IL Buddies. We should start a sitcom called IL Buddies. It's just 2 guys on the IL.
How many games has he played for the Angels so far?
It seems like none.
Oh,
it's been rough.
Yeah.
Like career-wise since he signed last year, and they had the short bozo season, so that's not his fault. But you're right. But he plays though. He's been good this year, at least with Rendon, Ohtani, Trout, Walsh. It looks like a great lineup. I hope they can keep him healthy. All right, great job, guys. Really well done. And as far as injuries being up, there's a great article. You got to pay for it. Maybe you can avoid the paywall. I don't know. I don't recommend cheating that way, but hey, I do like to buck the system. Ken Rosenthal wrote an article on The Athletic today that, yes, injuries are up.
I wanted to read that
has a problem.
But I didn't want to.
I wanted to, too. Yeah, I wish I could. I just can't pay for every subscription out there. But I do appreciate people who are writing and getting paid for it. I believe in that wholeheartedly, so it's complicated. It's complicated. But.
You know, I was looking into this today, and I was just like perusing through and looking at all the injuries throughout the league. Can you guess how many guys are on DL right now because of arm injuries? This would be shoulder, arm, or forearm or wrist. Can you guess how many guys?
There's 30 teams. Say there's two. I'll say there's 53.
Eric, you want to put in a guess?
I don't know why I weirdly think it's a lot of lower bodies. Oh, you're talking does hand count?
We'll go lower body next.
Let's go. I don't know. I want to go Price is Right rules and go with 54.
99.
Yeah, so now I win.
Well done. Well done. You are the winner.
Okay, hamstring, groin, quad, oblique, and hip. How many?
Yeah, that's if that's 99, I'm gonna go. But are there that many guys on the IL? Like, I want to go like 100 because I want to say it's more than arm. But let's go 87.
Mike?
87? I'm going to say 157.
No, 72. 13 guys on the DL for back, core, side, or ribs. And then my third one, which is 34, is just dumb luck things that happen in the field, like an Ian Happ type thing, or get hit in the thumb, something like that, or COVID things, and it was 34. But we got over 250 guys on the DL.
It's crazy.
Oh, well done. That's good stuff, man. Thank you for sharing that, because that is the reality here. But injuries do appear to be up. Based on consensus from people who have paywalls. Derek Rhodes is another guy I respect a lot. He keeps up on injuries, but he writes for Baseball Prospectus, so you have to pay for their sub as well. I really want to read his article and Kent Rosenthal's article, so maybe I'll shell out the cash for it. But if anybody has a free article they want to send my way, send it to Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. I'll be happy to read it and share it on our Twitter feed. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. I got one final question here about Mr. Kirilloff before we go. Jasper wants to know, should he trade Alex Kirilloff? It's a redraft league. It's not a keeper league. So it's a Yahoo league from what I gather. Yes, it's a podcast league. So would you guys trade Alex Kirilloff in redraft? Eric, I'll let you go first. I don't know that I would. I liked what he was doing before he got hurt.
Yeah, I liked what he was doing too. I think I want to hear more information because the last thing I read was that they were sending him for a second opinion and that it was something that was like, I think the wording was so weird, like it was not serious, but it was a little bit cryptic in terms of like how, like what the actual extent of the injury was. So, he's visiting a hand specialist today is what I'm reading right now. So I would hold and just see because, the extent to which that injury comes back could drastically change his value in this year.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. It's a 10-day IL stint with a sprained right wrist. That's more information we have. So
wrists are very tricky, and they tend to be more than 10 days.
Yeah, he saw a wrist specialist earlier.
Yeah, and the thing I'm looking at, he injured it sliding into second base. So what makes me feel optimistic about that is because what it seemed to happen, it was a head first slide into second. If anything, it would be he jammed his hand onto the base, bent the wrist backwards, sprained it that way. There might be like a little bit of maybe some ligament damage if the contact was hard. But I think you're avoiding I would be much more scared if it happened on a swing. Because I think the nature of the motion of a swing would imply like a much greater trauma to the wrist. And again, I want to make sure everybody listening understands that I'm in no way a medical expert whatsoever. But I just think that the injury that you would get sliding into a base the way it looked like he did, I think you're looking at a less severe injury, if I had to guess, than something like, I swung and I grabbed my wrist in pain.
Let's tweet Aaron Pags and get his opinion, Mike.
Yeah, we should.
Tribe has spoken.
Let's do that right now. He is certified emergency room nurse. So he's got a lot of stories too. And if you missed that episode, you can go back and catch last Friday's episode with Aaron. A lot of fun. We learned a lot about catheters.
Stabbing.
Stabbing.
The best place to get stabbed.
Yeah, I forgot to ask Eric if he'd rather be stabbed or arrested. I forgot to ask that one. Damn it. You can answer that if you want.
I think arrested.
You would think so, but what if you don't know what the charges are?
That's true.
Oh God, dear! I got to tell you something after the show. Something blew my mind last night, and it's still blowing my mind. Holy shit!
Don't forget it.
Oh God, yeah. Trust me. You want to know what you're getting arrested for? This could really change. You might want to get stabbed. Seriously, it's possible that there are certain charges you just don't want to go down for.
Yes, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Well, Nelly. Well, I got to tell you, this has been another solid episode. We just keep putting out quality content. Me and Deary and our new friend Eric Samulski. It's great to have you aboard. Now you're part of the Plaza community, man. We can do this on the regular.
It's perfect. I'd love to be back. I really appreciate the opportunity. I had a blast.
And thanks to Jasper Springer, we got a new sub, and he's notified. So if you click the little dingy bell, it'll let you know when we're live like this or when we have new videos. I posted a video yesterday about injuries, Christian Yelich and such. So we'll do those things from time to time, but we always live stream 3 times a week, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's how it goes here. I'm at MJ Govier, G-O-V is the Victor, I-E-R on Twitter. He's C. Deary, 1999. Deary as in dearly beloved, not the deer with antlers and hooves. Brian K. says, thanks, guys. We love having Brian be a part of the show. Brian's always here. Brian's a hardcore, loyal listener. Jasper, you can learn a thing or two from Brian, man. He's always here. So follow his lead. But, Eric, tell us what we can look forward to you in the coming weeks here. You write at Rotoballer. You do your videos. So give us all the information.
Yeah, so every Sunday, Rotoballer, I will have the Sunday Fab Streamers Catchers of the Week. So check that out. About once a week or twice, depending on how enticed I am by the pitching, I will have a video breakdown. Actually, Deary kind of like hinted at my next guy. It's going to be a Cole Irvin video breakdown.
Right.
So we can see how legitimate that is. And then I also host a podcast called Catcher's Corner. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. So you can hunt that down. And we look at baseball from a catcher's perspective, how catchers see the game and how we kind of scout things. And so listen, tell us what you want to hear.
Absolutely. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Samski NYC, SAMSKI NYC for New York City. It's good stuff. And always remember, guys, and it's going to keep on happening. We've got injuries galore, but we'll do the best to get you through each and every week. Friday, we got Phil Goyette from rotofanatic.com. He'll be on the show. He lives in Ireland, so we're going to have to do the show a little bit earlier, around 7 p.m. Eastern. Deary's got to work, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But either way, we'll do the best we can do. Phil's got good stuff. Make sure you follow him on Twitter and rotofanatic.com. Read his rookie ladder for pitchers and hitters. And check out the latest Turn 2 podcast with Matt Williams and Paul Mamino. They're talking about Stuff ERA, which is a Rotofanatic special created by Paul Mamino. For Eric Samulski, C. Deary, MJ Govier, thanks so much for listening and watching. We'll catch you guys next time.